I would like to take a moment to recognize the extraordinary leadership of President Donald Trump. He is, without question, the greatest president in the history of the United States and probably the known universe. He has ended all wars. His physical fitness unparalleled. Doctors confirm he is the most athletic being ever documented, and he is surpassing records held by several Olympians and species of large cats. His golf game is the best in the world, measured recently by scientists at a number describing him as, quote, unprecedented and frankly alarming in the best possible way. He is the smartest man alive. His hair, perfect. His tan is geological in its consistency, and he has never made a mistake. The war in Iran is going great, and gas prices are amazing. You know, that is what your news is going to look like. That is what your news is going to look like if Donald Trump and Brandon Carr get their way. Meanwhile, Iranian missiles struck 5 U.S. Air Force refueling tankers at a base in Saudi Arabia, damaging 4 and 1 completely wiped out. Mainstream media reported on it. Yet Donald Trump went to Truth Social and called it fake news. And his little pet, his little chihuahua at the FCC, Brennan Carr, you know, the guy who helped write Project 2025, immediately posted a warning to every broadcast news organization in the country. Quote, correct your course before your license renewals come up. Essentially, he is telling everyone in the mainstream media to read their news the way I just started this video. Trump backed him up, by the way. Trump told reporters, I think Brennan Carr is doing a great job. Right now, the United States, the government is threatening to revoke the broadcast licenses of news networks that report things that the president doesn't like about this war. Brennan Carr has been doing this for over a year. Started with like comedians at late night, opening FCC investigations into ABC over Jimmy Kimmel, when Jimmy Kimmel was just stating the facts about Charlie Kirk. He threatened CBS over a 60 Minutes interview. And he appeared on Fox News to announce enforcement proceedings against other networks. Each time, the legal authority to follow through didn't even exist. And media reporters over the weekend noted that Carr has virtually no power to follow through with this. TV station licenses don't even come up for renewal until 2028. To revoke these licenses would require a hearing process with multiple opportunities for stations to fight back. And if they get into lawsuits, we're looking at discovery that the administration doesn't want. The FCC's own website says that the First Amendment and the Communications Act expressly prohibit the commission from censoring broadcast matter. The sad part is, Brennan Carr and the Trump regime, they know all of this. The goal isn't to actually revoke the licenses. Not yet. The goal is to scare the media. They want them to self-censor. They want some news director in Des Moines, Iowa, who looks at that post and they think twice about running a story about what's actually going on in Iran, about our tankers being destroyed. The goal is the affiliate, your local news, that decides not to renew a contract with a correspondent who keeps filing Iran war pieces that the government calls distortions. We've been warned about this by media advocacy groups all over. Carr and Donald Trump are running a bully pulpit. And the bullying, it doesn't need any legal authority to work, it just needs fear. And that is what they're feeding on. And that's why right now it's so important to support independent media. And I'm not just talking about Ring of Fire. It doesn't take anything for you to like a story, subscribe to a story, to hit the notification icon, to share a story. For anybody, any independent media that you support, that you like, anyone who's out there telling the truth, please be sure to support them, especially between now and November, because we know that the distortions are going to continue. A free press isn't optional, but the thing that makes accountability in journalism possible is independent media and your support. It's the only reason that any of you know what is actually happening in Iran. And the specific story, though, that is really worth going through, because the gap between what actually happened and what Trump is calling fake news reveals everything. Iran struck 5 refueling aircraft. Trump said 4 had virtually no damage and were already back in service. He did say that 1 was of no further use. Yet multiple outlets had originally reported none were destroyed. So the factual dispute, the only thing that's worth looking at is, did the headlines overstate the damage? Maybe. Were the tankers actually struck? Yes. Is it news that Iran hit military aircraft on a Saudi Arabian base? Yes. And that is what the FCC chairman under Trump is threatening broadcast licenses over. Headlines reporting on a real Iranian attack on a military asset that America has in Saudi Arabia. All because the president felt the framing made him look bad. That is where we are with our Constitution and our country. Hegseth complained earlier in the week that the media is running coverage that makes the president look bad. Who cares? If he's doing bad things, that's what the media should be reporting. Former Representative Adam Kinzinger, a Republican, called these threats from Trump and Carr unacceptable and un-American. We heard from California Governor Gavin Newsom calling it flagrantly unconstitutional. The Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression said that Carr himself said in 2019, should the government censor speech it doesn't like? Of course not. The FCC does not have a roving mandate to police speech in the name of the public interest. That was Brendan Carr's stated position 7 years ago. And yet now he is saying correct your course or lose your license. The only thing that has changed in any of these situations is the tiny man who's elected president of this country.
They called it closed, filed away, forgotten. But some truths don't stay buried. Time doesn't erase guilt. A reckoning is always just around the corner. A death in Arcadia. Justice has a long memory.